Okay.
Now it is saying live stream.
Yes. Yes. I'm just waiting for it to load. Right. Okay. We are live now. All right.
Great.
Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to our June Alumni Talk. For those who are joining us for the first time, my name is Dr. Jane Periana, and I'm the MBA program leader here at GlobalNxt University. I am also a very proud alumna and fellow doctorate graduate of this institution. So it is my absolute joy to welcome our participants here tonight. And I know many of you have took the time to come and join the session. Thank you very much. And for those of the newcomers, welcome. And our returning regulars, welcome to the GNU family. So, believe it or not, tonight marks our sixth consecutive monthly alumni talk for 2026. We have been on an incredible global world tour, traveling digitally to New Zealand, having Dr. Dion's talk. Then we went to Mauritius, having Dr. Clyde's talk. And then Hyderabad, Dr. Poonam's talk, and South Africa. So, just in case if you have missed any of these brilliant sessions, don't worry. You can catch up on all of them on our official GlobalNxt YouTube channel. So just search GlobalNxt on YouTube, subscribe, and you can watch the entire library of the past talks. But tonight or this evening, our tour travel back to India, and as you have received the invitation, we have Dr. Vijay here. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining. So let me introduce Dr. Vijay Prasanth, and it is really my distinct honor to introduce this absolute titan of industry, a very proud member of our alumni community, and a recent 2025 Doctor of Business Administration graduate from Manipal GlobalNxt University, Dr. Vijay Prasad. Dr. Vijay's career is nothing short of legendary. He brings over 40 years of elite IT and strategic leadership experience to our stage. His academic foundation stems from the absolute finest institution, holding a Master of Technology in Computer Science from the prestigious IIT Bombay. And over the past 4 decades, Dr. Vijay has climbed the corporate ladder from software engineer all the way to CIO, director, board member, and advisor. He has led global business groups across Australia, Holland, New Zealand, the UK, the USA, and the APAC region. He even served as an elected director on the international board of the Project Management Institute in the USA. So, one more point is he's a massive proponent of the Dale Carnegie principles. His ultimate career maxim is simple: execution is the key. So, this evening, he is here to give us the definite roadmap to execution with his session, Mastering the Art, Achieving Success in Your Projects, Business, Research, or Personal. Please join me in a massive, enthusiastic GNU welcome for a true master of strategy, Dr. Vijay Prasad. Over to you, Dr. Vijay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jain, for that lovely introduction. I thought I should frame it. I'm very happy as an alumnus. I am returning back to the university to speak on a subject which is simple but is very important. And as all of you agree that that every project or task or program that we undertake, any endeavor, uh, we want that to be successful. But then, how do we ensure that? And that is exactly is the topic today. I'm very happy to see my fellow students, I would say, at that point, and now the all the doctors over here or doctoral with the doctor degrees, and I'm very happy to see everyone. And I hope this particular topic will be useful to many. It could be a recap for many, and it would be just an introduction to some. So, nevertheless, uh, I thought I should really speak on this because recently I came across a professor, don't want to name, but then he's a professor and he talks so much about this. But then some of the programs were not planned, and with the result that a whole lot of things were missed. So I was thinking, why is that a professor can really make such a mistake or whatever it is, or see, maybe it's a slip. That is why it is very important for us to see that, every task, every even a small assignment or even an activity, we sometimes think, oh no, this is not that important, just leave it out, let's do it. So sometimes we do act and think, that is, we act and then think instead of think and act. We all, and I have come across so many times, failed so many times, and I'm pretty sure you have used it many times and succeeded. Nevertheless, let's go on to this. And the agenda for today is this one. So it starts with what is the project, the definition, then comes to what project performance and project management, and then it comes to project example. Then we talk about a little bit of zero defects and 5W1H and de bono, so lateral thinking. And then we will also talk about some suggestions for achieving desired results, that which is what is success, and then Q&A. And I would like to have suggestions from you. You have some, all of you will have so many suggestions. Would be nice to capture those. Okay. With that, let's go on. In some cases, I'll be going very, very fast. In some slides, I'll be just going slow. So kindly bear with me. So we'll go ahead from now. So let's talk about the project definition in our context. What is the project in our context? If you really look into the project in our context, is a simple a project. It just has some activities to produce a unique product or a service or a result. Okay, with a start date and an end date. Because if it's not, then it's not a project. It goes on endlessly, and always faced with some constraint, challenges, and risks. No matter what, there will be some constraints, some challenges, some risks, and so on and so forth. And success in our context means achieving desired results. So, what are the project types in our context? When we say just project, that's a title because we can't put so many things on the title. We just said project, but project actually means that it is a task or a project or a program or a portfolio. Okay, and it can be in an organization, whether it's profit or not for profit, or in the research area or personal life. And it could be small, it could be medium, it could be large, it could be simple, moderate, complex. So it covers all aspects of it. So that's the meaning of the project. Even though we are calling it project and we go on, every most of slides has got project, please bear that it is a task or a project or a program or portfolio. Okay. So then let's go to examples. The examples are in terms of tasks. It could be just as simple as developing a small, I would say, get together activities. So that could be a task. It could be a big project or a program. In organizations, right at the apex is the portfolio. In what are the various programs that we should undertake this year or in the next 5 years. Then a portfolio contains programs, and programs contain projects, etc. So that is the whole idea of it. And then if you look at the the various examples in terms of organization, that could be a task or a project or a program in an organization. It could be in research also. It could in research, it could be a very small task. It could be a program as such, or it could be a project as such, and so on and so forth. It doesn't mean that it should be a conventional research project. Research can go on for many years. And so in terms of personal, maybe just designing a house or designing a small activity for the children. That could be also be considered as a task or a project. Now, in terms of project environment, let's take a look at a typical project environment. A project environment, I mean, it consists of constraints, challenges, risks, and there may be some opportunities too. We'll take a look at it. And then the environment consists, yes, of course, people, there's no doubt, but it consists of processes, tools, technology, yes, money sometimes, or many times rather, materials, and machinery. Okay, there could be some other element, but we didn't list all those ones. But this is a typical environment where any project aims to achieve success or desired results. Now, if you look at the examples in this way, we take a look at, say, for example, in a business, we have a huge ecosystem where you have a customer-facing environment, then you have a service provider environment, and they have a board and so on. So it's a huge, massive. I just wanted to indicate as to how it is organized in a real business sense in a corporations. And then in the research side, if you look at, we just look at starting from the university, your guide, the internal examiner, the external examiner, the primary data source, secondary data source, and so on and so forth. But of course, everything starts with the research gap or the problem statement. So I just indicated what's the environment. There's several other things also, but this I just took a list of these. Then in terms of the personal life, I just take a look at it. Suppose I want to go and buy tomatoes, eggs, bread, and butter, and of course pick up a daily newspaper also. Then I need to also really look at, say, by what time I need to start at my home, because I have to catch a bus, and then I have to go to the shop, that is Whole Foods. So everything you see, it has got activities involved in it. Everything has got activities. Ultimately, whether it is a task or a project or a program, etc., everything boils down to activities. In some cases, it will be 5 activities, 10 in some cases, hundreds of activities. Okay, just wanted to highlight. Now, let's take a look at the project performance and also the project management side of it. If you look at to the project performance, etc., what happens when, say, actions are not performed at all, or not executed, not planned, not managed properly? Just take a look at it. Whether it is a simple task or a project or program, let's think as to what could happen. We all have seen this. Most of the people have seen this, that in a case of a software project, as proposed by the project sponsor, is one view, and what the customer gets it finally is a different thing. What the customer wanted is different, and what has been delivered is different. Why? Is simply because of the communication or lack of communication and checks and balances. So this is one example. The other example is this. You must have seen this. The two groups of railway workers, and each one coming from one end, but the railway lines do not align. This is the case. Just there are several issues. Could be lack of communication, or lack of the direction, or team motivation, whatever it is, or the finger pointing, and so on and so forth. Ultimately, it is bad results, wastage of time, effort and money, opportunity loss, and team demotivation. Just imagine if you want to conduct again another project, or you want to undertake again as a rework, team will be so demotivated. They'll say, why are they doing this again? So there are so many issues. So now the thing is, if you really look into the project performance as such, even though we took an example, across software industry, I'm just giving an example. In 2020, when the Standish Group, a famous group, conducted the analysis, the successful projects were only 31%. The challenged were 50%, in the sense that these are the ones that were late, or not delivering the right features and benefits. And the failed and impaired were 19%. That is they were either cancelled, or have been stopped because there was not much money, whatever it is. But then overall, if you look at the industries from PMI information, or what PMI has indicated, 50% only are successful, 31% are challenged, and 19% are failed. That means still, with all the knowledge and which is so much thing going on, and with AI coming up, technology coming up, there are so much advancements and so on, Still, it's only, if you look at the highest figure also, it's 51. If you take the lowest figure, it's 31. It is very, very poor. You all agree. So then how to achieve success? Or at least, what to do with such kind of such kind of a state of affairs? Now, let's take a look at it. The thing that we need to really employ is project management. Now you can say, oh, project management, we all heard about it and so on. But no, yes, sir, you all heard about it. But please give me an opportunity. I would like to say a few things over here because this is the most important thing. Of course, to talk about project management, it will take hours and weeks and days. Sorry, days and weeks and months also. There are programs that are conducted even at master level, level in the universities. We will just cover a basic things here through project management. And key things here in project management is established a well thought out roadmap with activities and then manage those activities. So these are the two important aspects of it. But then what is project management? If you ask, well, we talked about it, but what is actually project management? Project management is nothing but project management is application of knowledge, skills, and resources to the project activities to achieve the success or whatever desired results. That is what it is. Then if you look at the age-old saying, what are the age-old saying in terms of doing something correctly is plan the work and work towards the plan. We all must have heard about it, definitely, many times over many years. So the plan the work and work towards the plan is again the basis of the entire thing. When Benjamin Franklin said, if we fail to plan, we will plan to fail. That's very clear. And nobody wants to fail. Nobody wants to plan to fail. So what is the right way? In simple terms, this translates to simple terms, think and act rather than act and think. Many times the later one happens, but we have to really see that plan the work and work towards the plan is followed. At least we'll go towards the desired results because we are planning the work, and we'll see as to why it's so important. Okay. So now a project contains, as we said, activities. We talked about it. All project activities are divided into 4 phases. Okay, the first one is the initiation phase, where we start the project. We like to identify the stakeholders. We like to know as to what it is, and like to know the requirements and so on. Okay, so that's the initiation phase. Once we know a particular set of requirements, etc., not all completely, the second stage is project planning. So we take that small input, we elaborate on that and see as to what needs to be done in further phases. What are the further phases? The further phases are project execution. Once we plan, then the next one is execute what has been planned. And finally, close it successfully. Close this activity, close this task or project or program, whatever, successfully. So the plan the work and then work towards the plan is very much is there. These 4 phases, we call it as IPEC or IPEC, are very important. At least I would like to know that. I would like to say that IPEC, whenever I like to take up some engagement, etc., from now onwards, I will say, hey, let me follow IPEC. That's something that I want to do. Okay, so now if you really look into the initiation phase, let's quickly go to that. The declare beginning of the project is the number 1 step. Identify stakeholders, understand project purpose, scope, requirements, understand the constraints. The constraints are very important. Time and cost are constraints. Example of constraints. Challenges. What are the hurdles in this? What are the risks? One of the hurdles is that we may think that we may get, for example, in research, the data source and so on, till the time we go and identify and we find out that they are not there. So we need to identify these hurdles right up front, identify the risks right up front. At least we'll be able to come up with mitigation strategies. That understand time and cost required, conduct feasibility. Many corporations conduct feasibility too. The idea may come from some employees, etc. But yes, we have to conduct feasibility, completely know that yes, we can do it, we should, yes, it is. The chances of this being successful and so on and so forth, it's in the time and cost parameters, boundaries, let's go. So there is a go, no go kind of a decision here. and then a project charter. I don't want to go into this because it's going to take a lot of time, but then let's go to the project planning phase. The planning phase is the heart of the entire project. And here we will develop what is called as the project breakdown structure. This is the number one thing that is on the plate. What are all the things that we need to do in terms of the deliverables of the project or functions of the project? It can be developed anything, but it tells you the entire scope of the project. It will give you the entire scope. From there, you develop the project plan the activities, and develop schedules, then develop scope, time, cost, baselines. The baselines is very important because this is what you'll be measuring your performance against. I want to finish by, let's say, September of 2026 or 19th of September. Then that's a time baseline. Cost so many dollars and so on. Quality is very important nowadays. Quality baselines are being spoken, very important, are implemented also very much. Quality talks about each and everything. Suppose if I say that the color of one of the functions in the website is green, is that sufficient? Now, my green is different from your green. How do we define? Then there is a way. There is a digital standard for every. If you look at every shadow or every shade in the Microsoft, if you really look into the for example, on the what do you call the shading of a box or a borderline, there are so many shades, but then each one has got a digital address for that or a digital identifier. So if I say 25.2.1 is green, then you know that it's the same as what you and me are talking about. But simple green doesn't mean anything. And establish performance measurement frequency and KPIs. That's a very key important, not just the activities alone. So, and then project WBS, let's talk about what it is. A project work breakdown is we talked about visual, hierarchical, and deliverable oriented construction of a project. So why it's a deconstruction of a project? Because if we define and if we go to the level that is necessary, then we know as to what the scope of this entire project is. For example, see, I just given an example I put in here. Let's say a project and it's got deliverable A, B, C, D, E, F, and so on. And it is further broken down to functions, function 1, function 2, function 3, further broken down to the last level, and that is the leaf level, that is activities. Now, beyond this, we don't have to, because it's not necessary to go to at the lowest level. We don't gain much any benefit. And staying very much above will also not give us any benefit. So we need to really find out that optimal level and where activities can be managed. So these are all the activities, and these activities will become input for scheduling. So this is why I just indicated this. And then project activities, let's take a look at that. This is the project activities, the start. Just then you have here 5 activities here, activity 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You see that some of the activities are starting in parallel and some are all merging to a particular point. Of course, there's a whole lot of knowledge and a whole lot of information. The subject is too large, but this is just to indicate for this purpose. An example of a project schedule is, you all have seen this one many times. I'm just giving you as to a project schedule is by activity and by dates, so that it is useful for management as well as for the teams to really go and track and find out where they are with respect to each task and take corrective actions. Now, the project baselines, as we talked about, there are scope baseline. That is, scope is just all the, say, if you're designing a website, what are all the various features that need to go in? What are all the various, I would also, functions that need to go in under each feature, and so on and so forth. So it's up to the project team and the management to decide as to how to define the scope. But scope has to be, because it's saying that what is correct, what is in the scope, what is not in the scope, so that we know exactly what we have to really deliver. So second is the schedule baseline we talked about. Third is the cost line we did talk about. The what is not indicated here is quality baseline, but quality baseline is also very important. These 4 baselines constitute performance measurement baselines of the project. Then project management is actually a management of several, I would say, entities as well as the touch points in the ecosystem of the project. Let's take a look at that. You have the requirements. You have the scope, you have time, cost, quality, human resource, materials, machinery, procurement. We need to really deal with several vendors. And these vendors can be spread out in different geographies, procure, then risk, technology, security, safety, all the way to sustainability, which is very, very important today. So we have to manage this. The project manager has to manage, or whomsoever is designated. So project management plans have to be developed. That is what is the project plan is not just a plan of just the schedules. No, that's not it. That's part of it. But the project plan actually has to have scope management plan, the time management, all the way to stakeholder management plan, and the integration of all the components put together, etc. That also, this is coming from the PMBOK, which is the Project Manager Book of Knowledge, 4th edition, released by PMI. I've just picked up from there, but a whole lot of information can be obtained if you go to pmi.org. So now, the other things that are to be looked into is also technology, particularly in the context of AI, etc. There is so much. Similarly, security, safety, sustainability plans to be developed in parallel. So if we do not have these plans, which are most essential today, right? The project will crawl, because definitely at a certain point down the line, we will be faced with these challenges. And rigor in planning, if you look at, for a small task, the planning may be, let's say, some of certain magnitude. For a project, it will be a slightly higher magnitude. And if you really look into program portfolio, then yes, it could be a huge. Sometimes the planning itself is about 6 months or 7 months or even a year. Okay. Just want to indicate. And if it's a task of about 3-4 days, we still need to plan. And that planning may be just a few hours or just about, let's say, a day perhaps. Nevertheless, planning is very essential. But let's talk about the execution. Whatever we have planned, we need to execute accordingly. So execute the plan, monitor the results, take corrective action, ensure that the whatever is the performance is according to the baselines, and institute change control. Change control is absolutely needed, because nothing is constant. The things can change, and right in the middle, some new functions have to be added, sometimes have to be dropped. Then how do we account for that? So we need to have a change control. Perhaps it may call replanning, and then the new version of the plan comes into effect, and we have to execute according to that. Let's take a look at the close phase is important, because we have to check the results, record lessons learned, complete administrative and finance processes. Whatever money we need to receive, we have to receive after the customer or whosoever is the signing authority, then finally declare project as closed. So now let's take a look at the project example. By the way, if we don't have to wait till the end of this talk, if you have any questions, etc., like that, if you want any comments, etc., please, with the end of each and every topic, we can stop and we can do that. We can interact. I'll be very happy to do that. So I leave it to you. So anyone has got any questions so far, or anything that has been covered, etc., please, Dr. Jain, that would be great.
Yes, Dr. Vijay. So thank you for just pausing there. If anyone would like to speak up or give any question or any comments, you can do that. Or for those who may not be able to speak up, you can always put it on the chat box, and I will be happy to read your question or any comments. So anyone? I'd like to open this session. Yes, Dr. Rajiv.
Hi. Hello, the panelist and Dr. Vijay. So far, you are trying to cover a very, very elaborate subject, which is the project management. And in that, you have added a lot of complexity for the research, for the personal, and for the project itself. So thanks for your broad coverage. I know you are practicing this since last 40 years. So only one question is the IPAC. I think now there is additional C which is added in IPAC. I wanted to have your opinion, which is committed leadership. Do you have any comment to offer in IPAC addition of committed leadership?
Thank you, Dr. Rajiv. if you look into the IPEC, which is project initiation, planning, execution, and closing, I did mention about the project human resource management plan. The human resource management plan covers leadership, covers the aspects of training, covers the aspects of developing resources, and so on. So, committed leadership is an aspect of leadership, and leadership is very important in terms of the human resource development. So it goes right from initiation to planning to execution to the closing. So when we choose, or when the organization chooses a project manager, or say for example, I myself want to lead a task, that I must, yes, have that committed leadership, whether it is official or not. From my side, it should be. And if it is official, then yes, the person for the project manager has to have that commitment in terms of the leadership. True.
Yeah,
Hope I answered the.
Thanks, Dr. Vijay. I was not referring to HR. I was referring to the top to the bottom. If the COA is not committed for the project execution, whether the part of the HR things and all, it will go heavier. Since in my own company, I do not have any HR team, but my projects are running currently in US, Turkey, India, and England. We have without any HR, but our CEO is the most committed out of all our employees. That's how I think we are moving ahead with our project. I mean, this is my observation. Thanks for your solutions.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sure. Dr. Rajiv, what you mentioned is absolutely right. The HR in this context, sorry, is not the HR department. It is the human resource aspect of it. We are not talking about the HR function here, but the human resources. The reason why it has been spelled as human resources, because resources can be human resources and non-human resources like materials and so on. So human resources have to be managed. We're not necessary to have a HR department. Okay, we're not talking about that. The second is absolutely right. The commitment from the senior management is very essential. In fact, if you go to the Google, or if you go and look at what are the causes of the project failure, you will see that lack of commitment from the senior management is one of the aspects of it. Very good. Thanks for pointing out.
Thank you, Dr. Rajiv. Thank you, Dr. Vijay. I'd like to open the floor to one more. Anyone else who'd like to? Yes, Dr. Dion. Go ahead. Switch on your mic and speak away.
Hey, Dr. Vijay, that was really interesting. Thank you so much. And I'll premise the start of the question with a scenario that I am dealing with at the moment in my role. We have a national ticketing system that is being developed for us, and it's for public transport. I am the chair of the board, effectively, that will be the customer. It's a $1.5 billion project, New Zealand dollars, very big. But it's been framed as a technology solution for a customer problem. And the project is now about 5 years overdue, and it is going very, very badly. Can you kind of I think it's the scoping out of projects right at the start. What is it? Because we've got another project here that I'm going to be involved in, and I'm trying to give some advice to ministers at the moment about the end customer. And so I'd be really interested from your perspective, what is that piece of advice around the scope when you're doing technology projects of huge scale? I'm talking national scale. So I'm giving advice to ministers on some of the failure of our existing project, which we have to be the implementers, but it's a different board and we've got lessons learned. But I'm really interested from your perspective on technology projects and that initial scoping, especially in the customer focused side of projects.
Yep. Um, Congratulations, Dr. Dion, for heading such a huge engagement. The number one problem that comes up, or the most important problem that comes up, is also the in the area of the scope. The requirements are not being clear, okay, or changing. Whether it is a technology project or a non-technology project, we need to have the stakeholders identified first. Let's say, who are all the stakeholders, and within these stakeholders, who is the person or who is the stakeholders that got the absolute authority to say, or the writing, or we say approval authority or signing authority. Because there could be, number one, that say there could be several stakeholders, and they are all very important, because the requirements have to come from the users, right? And these are the representatives of those users.
Yeah.
We cannot
Users.
have we cannot have 1,000 users who are going to use the transport, thousands or maybe million. We cannot have them. This is not a forum, okay? But there will be representative, just like ministers and from the governments, etc. So, but however, there can be a clash. A stakeholder A can say something that they want. Stakeholder B may say, well, I think this is very important, and that what has been said may clash with what has been said, told by others. So then there have to be somebody to say, all right, guys. So all right, either we take the balance, or no, we'll take the whatever you said, we'll take it in the next phase. But right now, in this phase, we have to go with these requirements. And hence, this is what it is. So those requirements, that which will documented, agreed upon, and signed by, that becomes a baseline. So that becomes a baseline, and the team will now take this plan and execute, etc. If there's any change in the scope, that will come under the change control. Say, for example, some of the new features have to be added, then the project manager or the program manager can say, look, a new feature has been added. Whatever we want to deliver by June of next year, we will not be. We'll take another 3 months or so. At least there is a tracking. So that is what is very much needed. So it is the identification of the stakeholders, and then who are the stakeholders that are responsible for this, and then ultimately who's the stakeholder that has got a signing authority. And that person determines as to what is the scope of the requirements for this particular phase, and so on and so forth. So I would like to talk to you on this much later, Dr. Deon, and also probably able to connect you to some people in New Zealand that probably you can talk to. So let me certainly, that's a very important thing. What you read is not just pertaining to New Zealand. What you raised is pertaining to the entire world, what you have indicated. So please know that. And I would like to also mention here that if you really look into the success rate in the projects or type of projects in manufacturing and construction, it is very high. And then if you come to healthcare and transportation, etc., it's mid-range. And when it comes to government, etc., it is very low. The reason being these are the slow adopters. So as rightly mentioned, that the techniques and tools, etc., is being very, very speedily adopted in manufacturing and construction, whereas it is low in government, and that is what it is. And that's why there is a lot of importance given to the government projects throughout the world now, to see that they also catch up with the same success rate as the manufacturing and construction. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a good point, and I think I'm right in the middle of that very problem that you've just identified there. And I think we've worked through and identified part of the problem, but it's really good to hear your perspective. So thank you very much. There's a lot on stake, actually, a considerable amount at stake for this particular project. So appreciate your words. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for raising that, dear.
Yes,
Can I
thank
ask
you.
question?
Yes, certainly, Yunus. Yes.
Do I have to
Before
show?
that, thank you, Dr. Dion, and thank you, Dr. Vijay, for discussing that. It's very beneficial for everyone as well. So we have Mr. Muhammad Yunus. So Mr. Muhammad Yunus, go ahead. You
Yeah,
have a question. Go
I
ahead.
have a question. First of all, it's a very good topic. I would like to
Thank
also
you.
say something on Dr. Dion's project. Um, I am
Yeah.
also involved with currently 1 billion project on the independent power producer. But before that, Dr. Vijaya, um, are you involved in any way with data center?
With data centers?
Yes, data center.
No, I'm not involved with any project connected to data centers. No, I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Huh.
just have a general question for you. I
Please.
am sure almost everywhere in the world right now, data center seems to be mushrooming because of the AI,
Right.
Instagram, TikTok, everything. So the data center seems to be in much of need right now everywhere in the world.
Yes.
And I am directly involved with the development of power supply in my country, in Sabah, Malaysia. And I have two issue right now. I have issue of not enough of electricity supply first, and also I do not have enough water to cool
Mm.
down the data center.
Yeah. Come to New Zealand, we've got plenty.
Yeah. So maybe can get somebody with your wisdom. What is your take on that one? And later I want to talk about Dr. Dion. Dr. Dion, bring me to New Zealand. We solve your problem.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Vijay, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Hamid, what you have indicated is a problem or a need. Now, I'll give you an example, and we can we can relate to it, and you can take it from there. Say, for example, you want to cross a river or a bay. Okay, so that's the need. That's a need. The need is to cross the river. That's not a requirement. The requirements stem from there. So the requirements is, yeah, you have to look into the alternatives. Can we have a bridge, or can we just have some, steamers or launch that can take people from one side to the other side, or can we have a tunnel under the bay? So these are the very alternatives. So what you have indicated is that there is insufficient electricity, insufficient water. So that being the problem right now. So what are the various ways to really solve this and so on? So take that, and we have to really analyze. The team that is responsible for that, just like what Dion has indicated, has to take, the stakeholders have to be there. They have to really look at and say, well, if this is the need, yes, what is it? How can we really have that? And what are the requirements that should come up? Someone has to really, or a group have to really indicate to the point that that can be broken down as projects and then be executed. Right now, what you indicated is a need or a problem statement which needs to be taken further. Divide that into various programs and projects, etc., and then take that in terms of phases, as what Dr. Dion has is doing. That is taking certain requirements and then planning them, executing them to see that they translate as benefits to the users. So in your case also, you need to really see this one to say that how you can take this as and then to benefit the people who are going to manage the data centers effectively. How they are going to manage the data centers effectively? Only when they have sufficient electricity, sufficient water. So you need to really take that and see as to what are the things that needed to be done. How it need to be done, etc., will follow from the planning. Did I make it clear, Mr. Yunus?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You also indicated that you have a problem. You have indicated about Dr. Dion. You said in the beginning, right? You said Dr. Dion. Do you have anything to say, or that you're agreeing with what Dion has said, that it's a worldwide problem?
Are you asking me, or are you asking Dr. Dion now?
Yes, I'm asking you because you
Okay.
mentioned that.
Actually, am I allowed to talk about Dr. Dion's thing? Because I don't think I'm the panel, but if I'm allowed to share on
You can.
something that
Of course you can. Of course you
yeah.
can. Go ahead. This is a
Okay.
learning session as well for
Yeah.
everybody.
Okay, Dr.
Yunus,
Dion. Yes.
Yunus, if you let me to say something here.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you, Dr. Vijay, for being here, and thank you for all of them who are attending today's session. About whether you're allowed to say something or not, Yunus, this platform has been made to connect our alumni, which are the best in their place currently, and our current learners who are also in top positions in their work. So to discuss, to share, this is what we are looking for. We are not looking for that, okay, guys, we have 1 hour, we finish 1 hour, then bye-bye. Is not our concern of today's session or all our sessions. And I believe Dr. Vijay and Dr. Dion and all attendees, I will be more than happy to share more and more, because this is what we are looking as an outcome of every session we are running here. So thanks a lot for everyone who's here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anna. Thank you very much. Thanks for giving an
Thank you,
opportunity
Dr.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to
thank
come
you.
back to
Back
the
to you,
university.
Yunus. Go ahead.
Okay.
We are all
Okay,
here to learn. Thank you.
interesting real case scenario, 1.5 billion project, overdue by 5 years. We had a similar problem, something similar with that. Malaysia is quite good on overduing projects, and we learned a lot from the federal side, and my state Sabah right now trying to implement and learn from the mistake. If I may ask you a question, first of all, a forensic uh, towards the problem. Even before you started the project, did you have a feasibility study, Dr. Dion? Did you guys do some feasibility study before you start the project?
Yeah, no. So there was feasibility study, there was problem definition, there was all of the right stuff was done. What I
Mm,
think where the failure was
mm,
was in the scoping the of the offering of what the technology of the project, I should say. It was
okay.
touted as a technology solution for a user problem. And so the design of the whole project was taken as a technology solution rather than actually trying
Mm,
to solve the
correct,
problem of allowing
correct.
users to basically use public transport, which is why I was really interested in understanding from Dr. Vijay about the
Yeah,
scoping piece, because we've
correct.
got another couple of projects, well, one big one that we're about to initiate for another nationwide solution for something. And I'm very scared that the same thing will happen, because it is a technology project, but not actually taking into not actually scoping what the issue is for the end users, who will be the farmers on the ground who need a consent for taking water
Mm,
effectively. So that was what I was trying to identify, and I think Vijay, you answered that very well, which helped sort of confirm a few things in my mind.
correct. Yeah, I agree. How about the risk assessment? I mean, we are sharing on the project. I know that is in the midway or something right now. Our biggest problem was we were so optimistic and overestimated. So what happened was that, okay, I have this product, somebody will always come and buy or
Mm.
subscribe to that. And at the end of the project, we did not really do the assessment on the risk sincerely. And what that was the problem. The word is sincerely.
Mm.
I get the government fund, I use the fund, I utilize the fund. At the end of the day, let's see if it's going to work or not. So was the risk assessment was, I mean, done to what, including the scopes. Actually, scope is part of the risk assessment. Do you think that, I mean, just sharing, yeah, Dr. Dion, do
Mm.
you think that the risk assessment was done carefully and,
No, no, it wasn't, and
yeah,
that is part of the problem. And then it's
yeah,
been bad governance, like Vijay said. The CE
mm,
needs to be very much leading that. Where
correct,
I'm the ultimate governor as the customer, but I'm
correct,
not the governor for the project.
yeah,
And so we are basically paying for a project, and this is just the way government contracts work. And I think there's lessons for New Zealand to be learned in the government projects point of view. But the issue was the governance of the actual project was terrible, and every time there was problems, they have basically left or got sacked rather than fixing the issues. So multiple issues there. I think it's a good case study to learn or to learn from. But there's probably multiple things like this around the world, as Vijay was saying. I don't think we're unique in this situation.
yeah, makes sense. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
both.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
I
much.
just want to add one thing, Dr. Jain.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Dr. Yunus and Dr. Dian for bringing it up. Please understand that technology is an enabler. Technology is an enabler. We cannot pivot technology as a center point and design functions around it to make it work. Technology is not an answer for every function. And nowadays, it's a very much as a new technology comes up, everyone wants to join to the bandwagon and say that we'll do this AI. We want to put AI into this. We want to put AI in. Please understand, there are so many projects that are failing today. It's simply because of AI. Bringing AI very soon, not really understanding it and thinking that AI will do all the magic. That's not right. First comes the functions. First comes the functions, and then say how we can apply technology to it, not the other way around. Okay, thanks, Dion, for bringing it up again.
Okay, I just want to mention to everyone, don't worry. Once Dr. Vijay have finished, I think he has a couple of slides. We're going to open for question, comments, and answers. So just stay tuned. If you have something and you really want to point out, maybe you can type it in the chat box. Otherwise, we will definitely have a session for the question and comments. All right. So with that, Dr. Vijay, over to you. Looking forward to hear the next points from your project.
Sure. Dr. Jain, I'm here, even if it's going to take 3-4 hours, whatever it is, my time is there. Okay. Very interesting questions, very interesting comments. But of course, time is a very important thing. And of course, everything has got a constraint. So we have to abide by that. Thank you. So let's take a look at the project example. So for this, I picked up one, which is the research. Okay, so just it's not completely, we're not going to talk about every aspect of it, but we are only talking about the initiation, the planning, the execution and closure in terms of a research project. So here is an initiation phase, complete administrative process, seek approval to conduct research, understand research requirements, scope, constraint, challenges, risk, as what Dr. Dion has pointed out. Of course, there are certain other things I did not indicate is establishing or developing a project charter. Dr. Dion, this is an important thing. A project charter indicates who is responsible for what is the position, and so on. What is their authority, and so on. So that's why project charter is the most important thing, and that has to be agreed upon by everyone. Okay. Then comes the planning. The planning here is in two aspects. So that is in two stages. One is developing a work breakdown structure, and second is developing a schedule, and so on. So let's move on to and then you have the execution phase and closing phase as indicated there. So in terms of the work breakdown structure, so I just indicated the various deliverables. The pre-research administrative tasks, what are the deliverables in that? Similarly, identify research area, research gap, problem statement, ROs, RQ, hypothesis, and all the way. And if you look at everything in, I think it has to be broken down finally to activities. So I just gave an example of that one. And you can see I did not break down everything because not much space is here, but just to give an idea of how it should be done. And then the schedule has to be developed from those activities. Then we will develop a complete schedule as to what activities have to be done in what sequence and so on. So you will get a network and of all the activities. Then you assign the resources, or if you're only the person, then you're the only person who's doing it. Suppose a research project such that several people have to do it, then you assign the resources and then determine the start date and end date. Of course, there is also what is called a CPM, PERT charts, etc., which tells you as to what's the optimized schedule that we can develop. So this stage is that. And finally, if you is going a little fast, but if you really look into, we have to develop the schedule also. Once we develop the schedule, then we can actually execute as per that. So that is why I wanted to really emphasize on the importance of WBS and importance of developing a schedule from that. Let's talk about now a few very fundamental concepts, but very important one. Okay, it's almost like aspirin in let's say a pharma industry or something like that. So we are talking about that. That's very useful though. Okay, so one is zero defects. The second is 5W1H. the analysis, and Dr. De Bono's lateral thinking. These are very, 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 very important aspects of it. Whatever we discuss up till now, you will see that how these things can be applicable. You will notice that one. What is zero defect? Zero defect is also called getting first time right. Now imagine, as Dr. Dion has pointed out, if he wanted to get that whole project done first time, that means, and as per the schedules agreed or as per the requirements, how can it be? That is zero defect. That means everything has to be aligned with zero defect. The requirement should be 100% correct, right? Planning has to be 100% correct. Execution has to be 100% correct. Then only the delivery will be 100% correct. All is well, that ends well. That proverb is so important in project management. Every step is important, and a mistake in the requirement stage, Dr. Dian again pointed out that right at the beginning, to correct a requirement, it may take, let's say, $1 or $2. To correct the same mistake as in software, as in software sphere, in the planning stage, it will be $10. In the execution stage, it will be $1,000, right? And right at the delivery stage, it could be even, it may probably go to about 10 times that, and sometimes it's not possible. So that is why nip it in the bud. That means right at the beginning, right in the requirements, make sure the requirements are as strong, as clear. Then only we can proceed. Otherwise, we'll pay very heavily. That is why I wanted to indicate that the zero defects in every aspect of it, every task is very important. If we do the zero defect, that means we have that zero defect mindset, then everything will go right according to what has been envisaged and what is going to be produced. Okay, all right. The next one is the 5W1H, which is developed by Rudyard Kipling. And he said, in every aspect, look into the six, he said that these are the six golden horses, etc. They teach me everything. That's what he said. What is it? That is what? What are we going to do? Why? Question ourselves, why? It can give us a whole lot of, it opens up our mind, and it opens up the minds of the others to think through maybe whatever they said that needs amendment. Who's going to do it? When? Where? How? I mean, these are all the techniques to really analyze a particular situation, a problem, or whatever. Okay. The next one is Dr. De Bono's 6 hats. You must have, many of you have come across. I'm pretty sure we all have seen this. And this 6 hats says that a person has to wear 6 hats because one is it gathers hats, it gathers facts. The other one is actually talks about why are we doing. The second one is saying, hey, you have to be cautious here because you have to identify the risks. And the second one talks about how does everyone feel about it. That is a very important aspect of it. Many people may feel, but they may not open. So this is to bring out that. So bring out that, and similarly, creativity. Is this the only way we have to really solve this? Is this the really, well, this will bring out, maybe it will open up. No. There are different ways of doing it. So let's take a look at it. At least it will give us a chance to see that there are different solutions possible for this one. And finally, how do we need to really do this one? And having established this, it will tell as to the next stage how we can go proceed with this. So Dr. De Bono's and 6 hats lateral thinking is very important in every aspect of whatever we are undertaking with a task or a project or a program, etc. Now, these are just the suggestions for achieving success based on whatever we have indicated. So any project, it can be a task, project, or a program. It can be for the organization. It could be research area. It could be personal area. And it could be small to large. It could be simple to complex. In order that to achieve success, we need to have applied project management. And in this context, we need to proceed in some logical fashion. And this has, the 4 phases have been in function for many years, ever since the project management has been formally recognized as a stream or as a business stream in 1950s. So one is project initiation. And here you actually initiate the project, establish the purpose, understand the requirements, who are the stakeholders, who is the key stakeholder, and develop develop the program charter, not indicated at all, but please take a look at it. You find all this information in the net and everywhere. So please don't lose anything here. Then second is the planning, develop WBS list activities all the way to develop baselines. Now, develop management, project management plans. And here is what Dr. Rajiv said. One of the project management plans is to see that you appoint the right leaders, and if not, you develop also leaders, because it's not just we need to depend on only one leader. We need to also develop leaders, because if the project is going to span over years, etc., then we need to have the leaders coming in. So we need to develop, that is the human resource development part, the management part of it, motivation, and so on and so forth. Then the third one is the execution, identify frequency of monitoring the progress, execute the planned activities as per the plan, monitor progress, take corrective actions, and establish change control process. And finally, close down the project after seeing that everything is fine and the administrative processes are completed. Okay. Now, I would like to actually highlight a point that all these things have been very well documented, very well explained in various, I would say, platforms. You can go and can just type in. If you say project initiation, you'll find so much of information. If you say project planning, you'll find so much of information. How to go about project also. There are so many tools today. And there are going to be so many tools, AI tools that are going to come into picture. So all this information is available, but we can't get all that information. We can't put it here. It's in this span of time. We just want to highlight only a few points. Please expand your knowledge, expand your experience by going through the net and so many other places. I'm pretty sure you will do that. And even I'm going to do that, because every day there's going to be so many change. What we're talking about tomorrow morning, it may be slightly obsolete. So let's agree on that. Now, let's talk about a very important thing which we all have seen or heard, or no, mostly heard about, and that is Jack and Jill. We all have heard this one, right? I remember in my kindergarten saying Jack and Jill, went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Oh God, what a sad story, right? They go all the way, they climb all the way up to the hill, and then Jack fell down, and Jill came tumbling after. This is not a good situation at all. Dr. Kersner, who is a leading authority in project management, has indicated that, well, actually, Jack could have avoided this problem by seeking an alternative choice of installing some pipe and then and some pump, and then handling Jill the invoices. So he's saying that they shouldn't have done that. They should have used some technique, again, some technology to do that. Now, I would like to, or we would, let's say that we will take a same view in a different way. Now, what is it that if we really could, I'm sure we all agree that that Jack should have probably thought later that wish I thought of project management and I followed project IPEC roadmap. So if I use the roadmap, if Jack thought about it, right, he could have probably avoided, and I'm sure he may be repenting on that one. So this is what I just wanted to highlight on that. With that, then I'll be telling you as to what are the resources that you can go and take a look and gather more knowledge. PMI.org is a very important one. APMA, that's another project management association. PMI is the largest project management association. Monday.com is a good resource. Atlassian.com is a good resource. Asana has got a lot of tools in it. ChatGPT, our good friend, lots of information we can gather. Lots of information, simply Gemini, Google, Microsoft Project also, and similarly Copilot and Claude. And there are several other ones that I have not listed because I thought we'll just talk about this. We'll just say that there are several other tools that you can make use of. With that, I am open to question and answers. Any suggestions for improvement?
Yes. So I'd like to invite anyone else. Yes, Dr. Sarma, go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank
Nice, Dr. Vijay. It's a very interesting and very well thought out presentation. and also presented very well. I have one minor comment and one question. My minor comment is on the one slide where you have shown scheduling. You have used the years 2093 and 2094. Is there any reason for choosing that far off years?
No, there is no reason. I was doing it very fast and just came up like that. Thanks for pointing out.
Yeah, okay, right. That is. Now the second question is related with zero defects and lateral thinking. Okay, first I'll talk about lateral thinking.
Yeah.
Lateral thinking is normally used in situations where you have to find a solution where the solution is looking to be impossible type of a thing. So think in a different way to find out a solution
Right.
which is not possible in a conventional method. So that
Right.
is the whole concept of lateral thinking, and Dr.
Correct.
T. Bono's book is about that. And
Yes.
it is very useful in when you are inventing something or you are finding out a very difficult problem we're trying to solve and all that. Whereas project management is a linear thinking. Project management is a linear activity. Lateral thinking is a lateral activity. It is not a linear thing. It is thinking very differently, not in a step-by-step method. Whereas project management is a step-by-step activity. So how these two are getting connected was not very clear to me.
Okay. Shall I?
Yeah, please.
First of all, thanks for bringing it up. You're right. Lateral thinking is very important. It looks for out of the box solutions, and also to see as to when we are not getting the right solutions, etc. It prompts us to look for more and more solutions or whatever it is, and to see as to what kind of solutions we get. Now, project management, if you really look into, actually, it is, even though it is indicated as initiation, planning, then execution and control. If you're looking at that as a linear, and within that, every task is faced with challenges. Every task is faced with challenges, or every activity, let me put it, every activity is faced with
That's
challenges,
right. Yeah.
that risks and so on. So let's say we have a risk, then how to mitigate the risk? And within the very short period we have only actually 2 days or so. I'll give an example, and we have to quickly think through. So in that case we cannot limit to only one person, we are or just only one pair of eyes. We need to really see what the team members can come up with and so on. That's why lateral thinking is very much practiced. Similarly, the 5W1H, I'll give an example. I was actually while I was working in the United States, I had faced with a problem of loading a particular database with some information, and we estimated that it will take about nearly 20 minutes, and that's one of the activities. And when we're halfway through 10 minutes, what we found out, what it did only 0.5% of what it should do. That means for days it will go through. Now, where is 20 minutes against the dates? I was really, really petrified. Then the DBA who was with us, that person, Stephen Gardner, he came to rescue. He said, no, Vijay, let's abandon this, right? He came, those who understand the technology. So he said, download everything, we'll write the programs, and then we'll correct it, we'll plug in the information, and then we'll reload back. I said, let's try. I mean, that's one way. And in fact, we tried, that went in 15 minutes. So even IBM was surprised as to how we could solve this. And IBM later came and tried and looked into their own download programs and so on as to how to optimize them. So what I mean to say is that no, I don't want to say it completely as that, because agile is not linear at all. Agile is not a linear at all. Agile is actually, you look into it, and then from there you develop something, and then again you take another look. Maybe you have iterations and iterations and iterations. So and then finally do that. So that's just an example. But every task, right, is not simple. Wish every task is simple. The world would be so simple. But the idea is that every activity, right, has challenges and so on, at required solution. And what I'm saying is that yes, lateral thinking is very much needed. Don't stick to only whatever comes to the mind. That's the whole idea.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for bringing it out, Dr. Sharma.
Okay. Thank you very much for that very good discussion. I would like to ask if there's anyone else. I know that some of you have tuned in from the Philippines. Thank you for that support. And in case if you do have any feedback or any comments or any clarification, go ahead. And anyone else would like to just yeah, we've just slightly gone about 10 minutes ahead. So, but we still have time. We are not going to stop the session. We're going to give opportunity for maybe one or two more comments if anyone has.
Dr. Jain, I may permit.
Yes, please go ahead. Dr. Rajiv, go ahead.
Yeah, Dr. Vijay, compliment for your covering so many management aspects. 5W, 1H, D Bono, Jack and
Thank you.
Jill, and trying to explain the project management success using the IPEC and your favorite WBS. So that was the whole summation. I have got two observations where it's not a technical, it's a general question where I would like to seek your wisdom. A strategic project management meet all traditional project success criteria. 8, fail to deliver the business outcome. Your thought, please. That's the number one. Number two is the project success beyond a project manager's checklist. You have talked about 5W, 1H, D Bono, 50% success, but still the success rate is only 50% after doing everything put together. So what is your view based on your project management concepts?
Thank you, Dr. Rajiv. I may request you to revisit those 2 points again, but let me cover in a broader way. The most important factors or success factors that have been indicated or at least been identified is lack of project management processes in any project. A project does not mean that it has project management processes already applied. A project is just a definition. A project can be conducted without project management also. But if we apply project management, the chances of success are very high. The second reason is not having a qualified project manager. Even if an organization establishes project management processes, etc., or a consultant comes and rolls out a series of project management programs to run a project, if they do not have the right project manager or a qualified project manager, it's still going to fail. These are the two important reasons. And so if you really look into the project failed to deliver, can be probably there are several reasons for it. If I look, let's take a look at the first stage, initiation. As Dr. Dian pointed out, if the requirements are not clear, and even if we're taking those inadequate requirements, planning very thoroughly, executing thoroughly, right, will not actually please the end user, simply because the requirement set that are taken in the initial stage is not sufficient. So there can be a problem at the requirement stage, initial stage. Also, there may be the roles and responsibilities are not probably spelled out clearly. There comes your leadership problem. Then now let's go to planning. The planning is not done thoroughly. They have not probably considered all the activities. WBS was not correctly produced, not signed off correctly. So there itself some scope has been missed. Even if the requirements has indicated, let's say 151 features, in the planning stage, if they took only 142 features and planned very well and executed very well, it will not satisfy the end user. Now, the third is execution stage. Even if the planning stage is being correct, very well done, if the execution is not done properly, and if they've developed something without testing, etc., they just put it to the end user, and if the end user discovers these errors, etc., will that end user be happy? No. So that is regarded as a project failure. Even at the closing stage, let's say the closing stage also, if the handing over is not proper, the training is not done proper, the project is deemed to be called as failure. So there are several reasons we need to see. It's like a fishbone, and we need to identify exactly where and what problem happened. Then only we can take a solution for that.
Yeah, no, slightly different. I have said that the project management criteria and success criteria has all been ticked. Still, it is not delivering the business outcome, which is the profitability in spite of the project management. So do you have any stake or say successful project management always does not create a winning business environment?
Well, we have to, absolutely, we have to, that's why I said we have to really look into where the failure occurred. Obviously, there are failures in the entire stream. If you look at right from beginning to the end, there are failures. If there are no failures, you would have delivered the benefit and the business value. But because the failures occurred, right, in the somewhere in the stream, midstream, whatever, the end result is not right. Now, I'll point out one thing, Dr. Rajiv, even though I said success is desired results, right, and requirements. What is requirement? If I elaborate on that, requirements, project requirements consists of two parts. One is the product requirements, and second is the project management requirements. The product requirements is something like if you want to build a car, then you are talking about the features and so on and so forth of that product, which we have to meet, or which the team has to really deliver that product, that car, or of the features that have been identified. And second is the project management criteria, that is delivering the reports on time. Okay, so those are all the other various milestones. So if those things are not done, the project management team or whoever it is, they will say, no, we are not satisfied with this. The product is successful, the product delivered is successful, the project management processes are not right. So still the project is deemed as failure. So we have to really look into, identify from starting to the end, where exactly what failed, and see as to how we can take corrective actions. In this process, they have gone ahead. They've gone all the way up to the end. They delivered either product or a service or a report, but it did not deliver the business value and the benefit. And so we have really, that is being correlated with what they have asked in the beginning. So that's how they have identified. They compared and they said, look, we asked for ABC, you delivered only AB as a value. Now, why C is not being delivered? Let's go and take a look at it. Is it missed in the requirement stage, or is it missed in the planning stage, or in the execution stage, or even in the closing stage? Maybe out of 4 modules, only 3 have been delivered to the customer and said this is what it is. Even though the 4th module has been developed correctly, it's not been delivered, and that's a failure. As far as customer is concerned, the customer received only 3 out of 4.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Vijay.
Thank you, Dr. Raju. Anytime.
Thank you.
I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for that very interesting discussion. I've got Dr. Sarma have raised your hand. Do you have something?
I just wanted to I'll take only 1 minute. Maybe that's
Sure,
it.
sure.
I just wanted to tell what Dr. Razi was asking. What probably is the issue there is that I'm just adding to what Dr. Vijay was telling, is that you see, a product might have been developed and everything is followed as per the project planning. It is rightly developed, but it is not given the result required profits. That's what, isn't it, Rajiv? We were telling.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I give you example. A pharma company has developed a product for marketing when it was not. It was coming out at the generic. They wanted to do it at the first to file. They have done a lot of research work, but they could not match the time. And by the time they have launched the product, the depreciation was more than 97%.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So it is probably a strategic issue. Sometimes project management may be successful, but might not be meeting the strategic objectives. Sometimes, that
Correct.
type
So
of
that's why it's saying they have ticked all the strategic timeline, but they cannot predict the outside
market
getting
changes. Yeah.
outside opportunity by some other company in cash
Yeah.
instead of him thinking about the first filing. And
That's
that
right.
was my question.
Yeah, that is right.
Yeah,
Sure.
I just go ahead, Dr. Sharma.
No, that is okay. That may not be a project
Okay.
management issue. That is what I was trying to say. It may be
Okay. It
strategic
is.
issue or external market conditions and so many other factors may be the reasons for that failure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
I just want to add, Dr. Sharma, if you can see the slide, actually, probably you are talking about this one. I just picked this one up from the from the Google. It's an image. It's not actually. I thought you were talking about this one. I just picked it
The
up from the
2093, I
Google.
was curious. The years are
Yeah,
2023, 94,
yeah,
90. So I was
yeah.
wondering why it is so ahead.
Well, Dr. Sharma, we think ahead. That's why this has been put forward.
Great. Yes.
Thank you. Thanks a
Good.
lot for that.
Very nice. Yes.
Thank you.
So,
Thanks for that.
yeah, thank you so much. I'd like to add on, if there's anyone else, we've got Dr. Poonam, I've got Dr. Arnil, Elizabeth, Raghu, and Yunus, Dean Hill. So, anyone else want to just clarify something with Dr. Vijay on this session? Or
Hi, Dr.
I'll just, yes.
Hi, Dr.
Hi,
Vijay.
Dr. Poonam. Yeah.
I don't have any query, but I just wanted to express that, the session which you have taken today, very, insightful and extensive. And also it gave a lot of idea about, how the accountability, ownership, also the execution is the key. Like, which is the main takeaway which I kind of take out from the session. And I'm really, fortunate to attend this session, and just wanted to say thank you for taking your time for this session for all of us. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Dr. Poonam. That is a extremely useful and encouraging. Yes, I'm extremely happy to hear that.
Okay, so thank you for that acknowledgement, Dr. Poonam. And yes, so I see I have our guest who has mentioned okay, Dr. Poonam have said great insight shared by you, Dr. Vijay. Thank you so much. And then we have Dr. Emil. Thank you so much for the very information lecture. And then, right. So with that, let me just mention something very important over here. So with that, Dr. Vijay, thank you so much for that masterclass information. And I really love the Jack and Jill story that is going to stay very, very long in my mind. So with that, you have given us an invaluable roadmap for any business or even research for those who are tuning in, who are still learners, who's doing a research. And also we can apply the same thing for our personal life. And truly execution is the key. So with that, I also must mention Dr. Ivy Sarma, which I missed just now. Pardon me. Dr. Ivy Sarma also did a talk in the month of April. So for those who are tuning in to YouTube and listening to this recording, please go ahead, log in to YouTube, GlobalNxt University, and you can catch Dr. Ivy Sarma's session as well, because he has given a very extensive sharing, and also he is Dale Carnegie's exclusive knowledge for this aspect. So with that, to all our audience, thank you very much. And if at all you want to continue this session, you could just go to link LinkedIn, and then share your biggest light bulb moment from Dr. Vijay's talk. Maybe you can tag GlobalNxt University and, let's keep this momentum going. And finally, I want to mention that it is time to lock your calendar for our July alumni talk. Our global tour is coming back home. When I said coming back home, coming back to Malaysia, and but we are not Kuala Lumpur, not city center, but we are heading to a very breathtaking secret location. I cannot tell who is the speaker. I cannot tell which part of Malaysia, but I can tell you right now it's on Wednesday, July the 29th at 7:30 p.m. Malaysian time. So this July guest is a phenomenal leader, and we will be revealing the secret destination and the registration link exclusively on GlobalNxt LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram pages. So with that, thank you very much, everyone, for staying tuned, coming for this talk. And with that, I'm Dr. Jane Perenan signing off. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for attending and also adding a lot of valuable, I would say, insights and suggestions. And thanks to you, Dr. Jain, Dr. Rana, and the GlobalNxt for giving this opportunity. I learned a lot, and I'll continue to do so by interacting with the speakers again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Most
Dr. Jain.
welcome. And I'm going to sign off, and let's continue this talk. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye, everyone.